God, just got our tickets.
Yeah, we're here at the Stockholm International Youth Science Seminar to listen to some scientists.
Are you looking forward to it, Julia?
Yes, very much. Yeah.
Representing Hugo.
There she is. Oh. So what are we doing now?
We are waiting for our scientists
We're waiting for an opportunity to get our interview.
Yeah, because she's very popular. Everybody wants to see what she's doing.
Yeah, and talk to her.
Yeah.
So as you can see, there are a lot of people here.
Yeah.
As an introduction to our scientist, Eilert Olsen, we were focusing on, is from the United States, and she has accomplished great things in her field of science, spectroscopy.
She has managed to image objects smaller than 50 nanometers, and this is done by diffraction, although the diffraction limit is at 200 nanometers.
Okay. Why did you choose to study about super resolution chemical
imaging? I knew I wanted to get a PhD, and in the United States, if you want to go to graduate school, one of the most important parts of your application is research experience. So many schools, like undergraduate schools, so the level before graduate school, incorporate research projects into the degree. So I needed to do research in order to get my degree, but then I wanted to do a lot of research, so I was a better applicant for graduate school. Additionally, I have 2 degrees. I studied physics and chemistry, and so this project was a project I could work on that did both. So there's a lot of physics in the imaging aspect of it, and the computers and things like that, and there's a lot of chemistry in the fibers and the solutions and the bacteria.
Yeah, so what was the most difficult with yours?
Yes, research is very tedious. So I have worked on this project for 2.5 years, and some summers I would work like 40 hours a week, and because it's very light sensitive, it would be in a dark room, and sometimes you don't get results fast. It's very tedious, very slow. You have to be very patient, and you can't give up easily. Like you have to work hard and keep going.
Yeah.
It's fun in the end when you can look back and it's very.
Can you see results?
Yes. Yes.
Are you going to continue this path, or are you going to begin to study something else?
Yes, I am not continuing this project. This project was in my university. I am now in the first year of my graduate study, and now I study radiation and the human body, how they interact. So I'm still doing research, but it's a different topic.
What motivates you?
I think it's so interesting. The world around us is so interesting, and the more you learn about it, it's just exciting and awe-inspiring.
That's true.
Were you surprised with the results?
No, because we knew theoretically it would work this way. I was surprised how long it took to get the results. It didn't work as well as it should have, so we had to be patient to get it to work. And there were a lot of problems along the way we would have to fix.
For example,
when we started imaging bacteria cells are on the scale of micrometers, and this imaging is on the scale of nanometers, so it's a difference of about 1,000. And light, before we were imaging from the top, and so then like if you go a bacteria cell, when the laser light would go through, it would be distorted, and then we wouldn't have as strong of effects, and so then we had to fix that by then going under it. But we were imaging through silver, and we were first using 50 nanometers of silver, which is pretty thick, so like a mirror you can't see through a mirror, it reflects, and we wanted to shine a laser through that mirror, so we had to go thinner silver. So this was about 10 nanometers, which is thin enough that you can go through it.
Do you have any advice for those who want to do research on their own?
Yes, work very hard because it takes a while, but keep going and don't get discouraged. And then take every opportunity you have to learn. Like when you can ask people questions, and really get involved in it. So, yes. And don't be scared to make mistakes. It's really intimidating to work with someone who's a professor and they know everything and you know nothing. And sometimes you want to pretend like you know more than you do, but just ask the questions because it takes a long time to learn about a project. I didn't feel comfortable talking about my project for like a year. I had to work on it for a year and then I started understanding what was going on behind it.
Could you explain what your research shows for someone who might not understand?
Yeah, so do you know what the word diffraction means in English?
You can explain it.
Yes. So it means that light will spread out.
Okay.
As it travels, it spreads out further. And being able to image using visible light is wonderful because it's non-destructive. So you can image things that are growing, you can image things that are alive, and they will continue to grow. Whereas something like scanning electron microscopy, you can image much, much smaller, but you have to kill whatever it is, so it can't be alive. So you cannot image like growth processes. So you want to be able to image using visible light, but visible light imaging is diffraction limited, which means that there's a theoretical limit that you cannot image anything smaller. That limit is 200 nanometers. So even with the best microscope in the world, you can only image 200 nanometers, but many biological things...
Is it destroyed when you go under 200 nanometers?
No, it's blurry.
Okay.
So using visible light, if you tried to go under 200 nanometers, it's blurry. But if you use a different technique that can image smaller than 200 nanometers, those techniques would destroy it, like scanning electron microscopy. SEM, if you ever look at those. Because that uses electrons, and so it like burns the sample. And it's in a vacuum, so a cell in a vacuum would just explode.
Okay.
200 nanometers is the best you can do, but many biological things are smaller than 200 nanometers. And so you then use reconstruction like computers to be able to trick the images to be smaller. So I use Raman spectroscopy, which is very similar to infrared spectroscopy, if you've ever heard of that, but it has very, very weak signal strength. I said I spent a summer in the dark because the signal strength is so low. So we do surface enhanced Raman spectroscopy, called Siyss for short. So we use a silver or gold surface in order to create surface plasmons, which are just waves of electrons, because metals are conductors, so the electrons move pretty freely. So if you shine a laser on it, the energy from the laser will excite like the electrons and they'll propagate in a wave. And so if you've ever rubbed your feet across a carpet and touched a doorknob and felt a spark, you know that electromagnetic fields congregate at points and tips. So then you need to have little details on the surface, little points for these plasmon electromagnetic fields to enhance, so they will group together and become stronger. So the stronger electromagnetic field then will interact with the sample. The sample will be vibrating. It'll vibrate inside of the area and then outside, and that causes a blinking effect, which is seen here. So then we take a video and we record the blinking happening in time, and every time there's a blink, we take and we find the center of that blink and plot a point. And then we just flip through each of the frames and just keep plotting points. And it's like pointillism art, that if you zoomed up, it's just many points, but then if you step back and look at it, the entire thing, it's a nice pretty picture.
Mr. Soon, or Wenpeng, can you explain your research and these fantastic posters?
Well, as you see on the poster, my research is a lot about air brakes and spring bumpers and also door sensors in the car. Because we really need a good door sensor to have a functioning car. A lot of cars have them, and my research shows that they're very important. There's also a lot of social application value to my research.
Okay, this material doesn't
Thanks
count
for
like
your
when
explanation.
we produce it, like the lab.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
It can't do that. So
Wait,
we need to
you're not Sue Wenpeng? I've been spotted. Whoa!
It was so interesting. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it was great.
We had an amazing day here at the SIYSS.
It was lovely.
Yeah.